There was a time when we used to struggle to stay focused for 5 minutes. Today, many people can't even last 50 seconds. I've watched this shift happen slowly, quietly, but undeniably. I've seen people sit down at a desk, open a document to work, and within moments, without any real reason, reach for their phones. Sometimes they're not even aware they're doing it. It's become automatic. And maybe you've noticed the same thing in your own life. You sit down to write, to read, to think. And before you know it, you're checking messages, scrolling, jumping from one app to another. Not because something urgent happened, just because your mind didn't know how to stay still. This isn't just a modern inconvenience. It's a crisis, a silent one, a slow-burning one that's reshaping how we live, how we think, and how we connect. Our attention span, the mental muscle that holds our focus, that allows us to think deeply, to create meaning, to experience presence, is weakening. And most people don't even realize it's happening. They just know they feel more scattered, more tired, more disconnected than ever before. But they don't know why. We live in a world where everything is engineered to pull our focus away. Notifications, algorithms, infinite scrolls. They're not just tools, they're traps. And the more we fall into them, the harder it becomes to focus on anything for more than a few seconds. We've started to normalize distraction. We've started to expect interruption. And we tell ourselves, this is just how life works now. But it doesn't have to be, because the ability to focus isn't gone. It's just buried under layers of noise, speed, and overstimulation. And the cost of ignoring this problem is high. When you can't focus, you can't think clearly. You can't work deeply. You can't build anything meaningful, whether it's a relationship, a career, or even a quiet moment with yourself. Without focus, life becomes a blur. Days pass, but nothing feels fully lived. So ask yourself, when was the last time you went an hour without checking your phone? When was the last time you gave something your full attention, without your mind wandering, without your fingers reaching for a screen? And more importantly, what is this constant state of distraction doing to you? Because it's not just stealing your productivity. It's stealing your presence. It's stealing your peace. And if we don't pause and do something about it, we risk losing the ability to focus altogether. This is not about blaming yourself. This is about waking up, seeing the truth for what it is, and realizing that you still have the power to take back control. Your brain is capable of more. Your focus is not broken. It's just under siege. And with the right awareness and the right tools, you can get it back. The first step is simple. You have to see the crisis clearly. You have to acknowledge that this is happening, that distraction has become a lifestyle, and it's time to change that. Not by escaping the world, but by reclaiming your mind, one habit at a time. This journey starts now. Not tomorrow, not when things slow down, now. Because the longer you wait, the more this quiet crisis grows, and the more you pay for it, in time, in clarity, in peace. But if you choose to show up, to start rebuilding your attention, even slowly, you'll start to feel the difference. You'll begin to think deeper, live calmer, and finally feel present again. And that changes everything. Let's get one thing straight. The reason you can't focus anymore isn't because you're lazy. It's not because you're broken, and it's definitely not because you lack willpower. The problem isn't you. The problem is the environment you're living in. You are surrounded by an endless flood of stimulation, so much, so fast, so constant that your brain can't keep up. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose and wondering why you feel overwhelmed. Let me put it simply, you're experiencing information overload. At any given moment, you're juggling messages, notifications, articles, emails, podcasts, videos, texts, and social media feeds. It never stops. Even when you're resting, your mind is scrolling. And the truth is, your brain wasn't built for this kind of input. It's like running a computer with 50 browser tabs open at once. Sure, it works for a little while, but eventually it slows down. It overheats, it crashes. That's what's happening to your focus. We used to live in a world where information was scarce and attention was steady. Today, information is infinite and your attention is under attack. And the worst part? Most of us don't even notice. We've gotten so used to the chaos that we think it's normal. We've accepted distraction as a part of daily life. But make no mistake, this isn't just a habit, it's a system that rewards short attention spans and punishes deep thinking. And it's not just the amount of information. It's how that information is delivered. Everything today is designed to trigger your dopamine system. Dopamine is a chemical in your brain that makes you feel good. It gets released when you experience pleasure or reward. And here's the kicker. Your phone knows exactly how to press that button. Every like, every comment, every notification is a tiny hit of dopamine. And the more you get it, the more your brain craves it. You're not just distracted. You're being conditioned. Trained to chase novelty, taught to expect instant gratification, to constantly check, refresh, swipe, scroll. You can't sit still for 5 minutes because your brain is hooked on the rush of the next thing, the next post, the next headline, the next video. And this cycle doesn't just rob you of your time, it rewires your brain. Think about it. You open your laptop to work, but your inbox is full. You check a few messages. Then a notification pops up. You click it. Then another tab is open. And before you know it, you've jumped through 6 different windows in 6 minutes. And you haven't even started what you sat down to do. That's not a lack of focus. That's mental tab switching. And it's exhausting. The human brain needs clarity. It needs depth. It needs time to get into flow. But in this culture of constant interruption, we never give ourselves that time. We live in reaction mode, and our focus suffers for it. The modern world trains us to be consumers, not creators. To scroll more, not think more. To react fast, not reflect deeply. But here's the good news. Once you understand what's happening, you can take your power back. You can start designing your environment instead of letting it design you. You can set boundaries. You can limit inputs. You can stop rewarding the habits that hurt you and start rebuilding the ones that help you. Because you don't need more discipline. You need less noise. You don't need more motivation. You need fewer distractions. It's not about becoming some productivity machine. It's about giving your mind the space it needs to work well, to live fully, to think clearly again. This isn't just about getting more done. It's about becoming more human again. Reclaiming the part of you that can sit still, focus deep, and think through. The part that's not constantly pulled in 100 directions. The part that knows how to finish what you start. That's the version of you that still exists underneath all the noise. So don't blame yourself for being distracted. Just stop pretending it's normal. See it for what it is, conditioning, and know that you can undo it. It won't happen overnight. But the first step is awareness. The second is action. And both of those are completely in your hands. Your brain is tired because it's been sprinting through a marathon of meaningless inputs. It's time to slow it down. It's time to close the tabs. It's time to reclaim your focus. Because when you do, everything changes. Not just how you work, but how you think, how you feel, how you show up for the things that really matter. And that's a kind of clarity worth fighting for. I've sat in cafes and watched people open their laptops with the full intention to work. They adjust their chairs, sip their coffee, open up a blank document, and then spend the next 30 minutes scrolling through their phones. Not a single word typed, just endless checking, tapping, swiping. It's not because they don't care about their goals. It's not because they're lazy. It's because they've lost their grip on focus, and they don't even realize it. It's become so normal to be distracted that we forget what it feels like to truly be present with what's in front of us. I've seen families sit down at dinner, each person lost in their own screen, parents staring at their phones while their children sit across from them, waiting to be noticed, waiting to be heard. We talk about quality time, but even when we're together, we're often somewhere else mentally. There's a kind of emptiness that forms when we're physically present, but mentally absent. And it hurts, more than we think. Over time, it breaks connection. It leaves people feeling unseen, even when they're sitting in the same room. I've witnessed professionals who once thrived in their work now struggle to complete even simple tasks without getting pulled away by a notification. They sit down with energy and purpose, but within minutes, they're checking messages, scanning headlines, clicking between windows. Not because they have to, but because their mind has been trained to seek the next thing, the next hit of stimulation. And the saddest part is, they don't even enjoy it. They just feel exhausted, scattered, unsatisfied, like something is always missing, even though they're constantly consuming. These moments aren't rare, they're everywhere. You can feel it in the silence between friends who used to talk deeply, but now barely make it through a conversation without checking their phones. You can see it in classrooms where students struggle to sit through a full lecture without drifting into social media. You can feel it in your own life when you know you should be reading, writing, thinking, or just resting, but your hand reaches for your phone anyway without permission. We're not just losing productivity, we're losing presence. We're losing the ability to stay with a moment long enough to experience its full meaning. We're losing the depth of thought that only comes when you sit still with a problem. We're losing connection to ourselves, to others, to the simple joys of being here now. And the effects are showing up in our relationships, in our work, and in our well-being. How often do we rush to check our notifications while our partner is mid-sentence? How many times have we looked up from our phone and realized we missed an entire conversation? How often do we promise ourselves we'll focus just after this scroll, only to find that hours have slipped by without anything meaningful accomplished? It's not just about time management. It's about what we're allowing ourselves to miss while we're distracted. And this isn't a matter of intelligence or motivation. It's a matter of conditioning. Day by day, we're training ourselves to live in fragments. We think in fragments. We listen in fragments. We love in fragments. We live in fragments. And deep down, we know something is off. Something feels hollow. Because we were made for more than noise. We were made for depth, for attention, for presence, for purpose. I say this not to shame, but to wake us up, to remind us that this life is happening in real time, not on a screen, not in an app, not in a scroll. It's happening right now, in the people around you, in the work in front of you, in the thoughts waiting to be explored. But you won't see it, feel it, or build anything meaningful if you're always somewhere else in your mind. This matters now more than ever, because we are at a tipping point. Technology isn't slowing down. Content isn't going to become less addictive if we don't become conscious. If we don't start choosing how we spend our attention, we will live our entire lives in a fog of stimulation. Always busy, always consuming, but never fully alive. So ask yourself, when was the last time you gave someone your full attention? When was the last time you worked without checking your phone? When was the last time you felt completely present in your own life? These questions are uncomfortable, but they're necessary because awareness is the first step to change. And if you see yourself in any of these stories, don't be discouraged, be encouraged, because now you see the problem clearly. And when you see it, you can change it. Presence is a skill, focus is a muscle, and every day you have the chance to reclaim both. Not perfectly, not all at once, but little by little, moment by moment, breath by breath. Your life deserves your full attention. The people you love do too. So take it back before it slips away unnoticed. Because the cost of distraction isn't just lost time, it's lost living. And you are meant for more than that. Let's talk about what's really hijacking your brain. What's truly behind the constant urge to check your phone, open another tab, scroll through endless content, and why? Even when you know you should stop, you keep doing it anyway. This isn't just about being distracted. It's about being conditioned. Your brain is being rewired day by day by forces you rarely think about, but that have a powerful hold over your behavior. And at the center of it all is something called dopamine. Dopamine is a natural chemical in your brain. It's the reward chemical. It makes you feel good when something exciting happens. It spikes when you achieve a goal, hear good news, or discover something new. And in a healthy environment, dopamine helps you stay motivated, engaged, and curious. But in today's world, dopamine is being hijacked. Your brain is no longer being rewarded for meaningful progress. It's being trained to crave constant novelty. The quick fix, the next hit, the instant stimulation. Every time you get a notification, every time you see a new like, every time you scroll to the next video or open a fresh post, your brain gets a small shot of dopamine. It feels good, even if just for a moment. And over time, your brain starts chasing that feeling. You don't keep checking your phone because something important is there. You check it because your brain is hooked on the rush. And when that rush isn't there, you feel restless, bored, uneasy, like something is missing. That's not an accident. It's not weakness. It's design. Social media, short-form video, algorithm-based content, they're all built to spike your dopamine as frequently as possible. They reward your attention not with depth or clarity, but with speed and novelty, and your brain naturally adapts. Every scroll trains your mind to crave something new, right now, and punish you for stillness, for quiet, for focus. This is not just distraction, it's dependency. It's a subtle form of addiction that looks harmless on the surface, but its effects run deep. Because the more you live in this state of constant stimulation, the more ordinary life starts to feel unbearable. Reading a book feels slow. Sitting through a conversation feels tedious. Writing a report or studying or thinking deeply feels impossible. Your brain has been taught to move quickly, not deeply. And in the process, you lose the ability to stay with anything long enough to grow from it. And then there's the content overload. At any given moment, you're not just dealing with one stream of information. You're juggling dozens. Messages, emails, headlines, tweets, videos, podcasts, group chats, ads, updates. It's everywhere. Your brain is being pulled in every direction, all the time. And what's worse, you've likely gotten so used to it that you don't even realize it's happening. But the cost is high. Because your brain has limited bandwidth. And when you flood it with input, it can't function at its best. It can't focus. It can't think clearly. It can't rest. Think of your mind like a room. If that room is filled with noise, clutter, flashing lights, and constant interruptions, how well do you think you could sit and create something meaningful in there? How well do you think you could rest or reflect or even breathe? You can't. And that's what modern life is doing to your brain. It's filling it with clutter, overloading it with noise, and then expecting you to perform at a high level. It's not sustainable, and yet we normalize it. We laugh about how addicted we are to our phones. We joke about how we can't pay attention for more than a few seconds. But behind the humor is a growing problem. Because this kind of mental fragmentation affects more than just your work. It affects how you relate to people, how you listen, how you process emotions, how you experience joy, boredom, sorrow, peace. If your mind is always chasing the next hit, it never fully lands on the moment you're in. And that's not just inefficient, that's heartbreaking. Because life isn't lived in fast forward, it's lived in stillness, in presence. In the moments where you pay attention long enough to really see, to really feel, to really understand. And right now, most of us are losing that ability. Not because we don't care, but because we've been conditioned not to care for long. So if you feel like your focus is slipping, if your attention span is shrinking, if your mind is scattered, and you can't remember the last time you felt mentally clear, that's not a personal failure. That's a symptom of an environment that's been built to hijack your brain. But now that you see it, you can begin to take it back. You can start reclaiming your mental space. You can start training your mind to love stillness again. And when you do, you don't just get your focus back, you get your life back. One decision, 1 minute, one choice at a time. Let's talk about the first strategy to help you reclaim your focus. And it starts with something incredibly simple. Limit what's open. Limit what's on your screen, what's running in the background, what's silently pulling your attention. This is called the rule of 3. And it might sound small, but don't underestimate its power. 3 apps, 3 tabs. That's your new ceiling. Whether you're on a computer or a phone, the goal is to reduce the number of inputs your brain has to process at any one time. Because the fewer inputs your brain has to juggle, the more energy it can give to what matters. Think about how most of us operate. You sit down to work with a document open, but in another tab, you've got a news site running. In the next one, there's YouTube. On your phone, messages are lighting up. Notifications keep popping in. Somewhere, music is playing. Maybe there's a podcast in the background too. That's 6 or 7 inputs, minimum. And your brain is trying to keep up with all of them. It's like trying to have 6 conversations at once and wondering why you feel tired, distracted, and drained. So here's the fix. It's not about pushing harder. It's not about forcing yourself to concentrate. It's about setting the stage so that focus becomes easier. And the first step is limiting what's in front of you. No more than 3 open tabs. No more than 3 apps running. If you're writing, then your document may be a music app and 1 reference tab. That's it. Anything more than that, and you're no longer working. You're juggling. And mental juggling always comes at a cost. Now I get it. It's tempting to keep everything open just in case. just in case you need that article, just in case someone replies, just in case you want to check something. But here's the truth. Those just-in-case tabs are costing you more than you realize. They're leaking your focus. They're silently pulling your mind in different directions. And even if you're not actively clicking them, your brain knows they're there. It's processing them. It's holding on to the awareness of them. And that's energy you're not using for what actually matters. So give your brain a break. Make 3 your magic number and protect it like your focus depends on it, because it does. Post a sticky note on your monitor that says, keep it to 3. Make it your mantra. Make it your rule. You'll be shocked at how much lighter your mind feels when you're only dealing with what's in front of you, not everything at once. And if you're someone who works in a space where distractions are everywhere, maybe you're at home, maybe you're in an open office, this rule becomes even more important. You can't control your environment completely, but you can control what's on your screen. You can control what you allow into your field of awareness. That's your responsibility, and that's your power. When you limit your open inputs, you also lower your stress. Your body starts to relax. Your mind starts to settle. You stop feeling like you're chasing something all the time, and you begin to feel more grounded, more present, more capable. You begin to remember what it feels like to finish a thought, to stay with something, to follow it through without being interrupted by a headline or a ping or a video autoplaying in another tab. Now here's a simple way to start. The next time you sit down to work, count how many things are open, not just visible, but running in the background. Now reduce it. Close the extra tabs. Exit the apps you don't need. And once you're down to 3 or less, take a deep breath and begin. You've already done more than most people will today, because you've made a decision to work with your mind, not against it. And if you slip up, that's okay. This isn't about perfection. It's about awareness. Every time you notice the clutter creeping back in, bring it back to 3. And over time, that act of reducing, of simplifying, will become automatic. It will become your new default. And you'll start to notice something amazing. Focus isn't nearly as hard when you stop overwhelming yourself with too much at once. So keep it simple, keep it clear, keep it at 3. That one habit might be the first domino that sets everything else in motion. Because when your brain finally has space to think, to breathe, and to build, that's when your best work shows up. That's when your energy starts returning. And that's when you realize you didn't need more motivation, you just needed fewer distractions. Let's talk about the second strategy to help you reclaim your focus. And this one is all about building it slowly, intentionally, and sustainably. It's called the 1-minute improvement rule. The idea is simple. Every day, you train your brain to focus just a little longer than the day before. Not 10 minutes longer, not double, just 1 more minute. Start with 5 minutes of deep focus. Tomorrow, do 6. The day after that, do 7. That's it, 1 minute at a time. This is how real progress works. It's not about massive change. It's about consistent improvement. And when you approach focus this way, it becomes doable. It becomes something you can actually grow into. Because instead of forcing yourself to sit still for an hour when your mind is used to constant movement, you're easing into it. You're teaching your brain gently, with patience, with respect, and your brain responds better to that than pressure or guilt. Think of it like going to the gym. You don't walk in and start lifting the heaviest weight on day 1. You start small. You build strength gradually. You allow your body time to adapt. The same principle applies to your attention. Your brain is like a muscle. If you want to improve your focus, you have to train it. You have to show up every day, stretch it a little further, and stay consistent. Small gains compound. In 30 days, you'll be 30 minutes stronger. That's real, measurable progress. And more importantly, it's progress that sticks. So how do you do this in real life? Set a timer. Choose a task that matters to you, something that requires concentration, writing, reading, learning, problem solving. Eliminate distractions. Close the extra tabs. Put your phone in another room. Then hit start. Give yourself 5 minutes of uninterrupted focus. When the timer goes off, stop. Celebrate that win. You've just completed a training session for your mind. The next day, do 6 minutes. The day after, do 7. You don't need to leap from short bursts to long stretches overnight. You just need to keep moving forward. And here's what happens when you do that. your confidence grows. Your mind adapts. What once felt difficult starts to feel natural. You start to crave the clarity that comes with deep work. You start to enjoy being present with one thing, fully immersed, fully engaged. This practice also builds something deeper: trust. You begin to trust yourself again. To know that when you say you'll focus, you will. That you can stay with something. That your mind won't always run off at the first sign of boredom or discomfort. And that trust, built 1 minute at a time, is powerful because it carries over into everything else you do. And yes, there will be days when it's hard. Days when your mind resists, when distractions feel stronger, when you don't feel like pushing through. But even on those days, you can still add a minute, even if you have to break it up, even if you reset the timer. The point is not perfection. The point is movement. Forward, steady, consistent. You might think 1 minute doesn't matter, but over time, it changes everything. In 3 months, you could be focusing deeply for over an hour. In 6 months, you could have a level of mental clarity most people never achieve. All because you committed to growing slowly, 1 minute at a time. This strategy also works beautifully because it's flexible. You can adapt it to your schedule, your energy, your lifestyle. Whether you're a student, an entrepreneur, a parent, or someone just trying to find their footing again, it meets you where you are, and it helps you build something better from that place. So don't wait for the perfect day. Don't wait until life slows down. Start now. Set your timer. Choose your task. Focus for 5 minutes. Tomorrow, add 1. That's how you change your mind. That's how you rebuild your attention span. That's how you prove to yourself that growth is possible. 1 minute may not seem like much, but it's enough to start. It's enough to shift the direction you're heading. It's enough to remind you that your brain is still trainable, your focus is still yours, and your future is still in your hands. Start small, stay steady, and let time do the rest. Because with consistency, even the smallest step can take you somewhere extraordinary. Now it's time to talk about the third strategy, one that most people avoid because it's uncomfortable, but it's also one of the most powerful. If you want to take back your focus, your time, and your clarity, you have to build what I call dopamine resilience. You have to train yourself to stop chasing the quick hit and instead learn to sit with the craving until it fades. You have to stop letting dopamine control you. Here's the hard truth. Right now, most people are addicted to the feeling of novelty. That little rush when you check your phone and see a notification. That instant satisfaction when you scroll to a new video or refresh your feed and something shiny pops up. But it's not just a habit. It's a dependency. A loop your brain keeps reinforcing because it's been conditioned to expect reward every few seconds. And if you want to escape that trap, you have to do something radical. You have to stop feeding the craving. Don't chase the hit. Beat the craving. Train your mind like a muscle. Let it crave, then conquer. And that means doing what feels uncomfortable. That means putting your phone in a drawer, setting a timer, and walking away. Not forever. Just long enough to teach your brain a new way of being. Because every minute you resist, you rebuild control. This isn't about punishment. It's about freedom. It's about proving to yourself that you can go 10 minutes without checking, then 20, then 30. And then one day, you don't feel the same pull anymore. You don't feel the same need to escape every quiet moment. You begin to feel stronger, calmer, clearer, because you've taught your brain that it doesn't need a constant stream of stimulation to feel okay. Start small. If you normally check your phone every 2 minutes, start by going 5. Put it in another room. Use a timer. When you feel the itch to reach for it, notice it. Don't judge it. Just breathe through it. That itch will pass. And every time it does, you get stronger. That's dopamine resilience. It's not about never using your phone. It's about using it on your terms. Not out of impulse, not out of reflex, not because your brain is begging for the next hit. The people who master this, who learn to delay gratification, to sit with stillness, to be bored without panicking, those are the ones who win in the long run. They think more clearly, they create more deeply, they connect more fully. Because they're not constantly pulled away by the next thing. They've built the capacity to stay present, to stay focused, to stay grounded, even when the world around them is screaming for their attention. Dopamine doesn't control you unless you let it, and you've let it long enough. You've spent enough time being run by urges, by interruptions, by endless scrolling. It's time to flip the script. It's time to take that power back. And the only way to do that is by feeling the discomfort and not reacting, letting your brain settle into stillness, even when it doesn't want to, especially when it doesn't want to. Because that's how you break the cycle. You don't need another app. You don't need another trick. You just need to stop running. Stop responding every time dopamine calls your name, and start building the strength to choose what really matters over what's easy, what's fast, what's empty. So start today. Put your phone away. Set the timer. Go for 5 minutes. Then add one more tomorrow, and one more the day after. Walk outside. Breathe. Think. Reflect. Be alone with your thoughts long enough to remember who you are without constant stimulation. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing. Willing to face the craving and not answer it. Willing to feel the discomfort and let it pass. Willing to believe that your focus, your calm, and your peace are worth more than another hit of meaningless dopamine. This is how you build real strength. This is how you take your life back. 1 minute at a time. One choice at a time. One quiet victory after another. And it all starts when you decide to stop feeding the craving and start feeding your focus. Imagine waking up and not reaching for your phone first thing in the morning. Imagine sitting down to work and actually getting lost in the task, not because of pressure, but because you're fully there. Imagine spending time with someone you love and really hearing them, really seeing them, not through a haze of distraction, but with your full presence. That's what life looks like when you reclaim your focus. That's what becomes possible when your mind stops craving chaos and starts craving clarity. We talk about focus like it's just a tool for productivity, like something we need to get more done. But it's so much more than that. Focus isn't just a skill, it's a gateway to better work, deeper love, a fuller life. When your attention is fully yours again, you begin to experience life in a way that most people have forgotten. You notice the details others miss. You remember what it feels like to be truly immersed in a moment. You stop racing from one thing to the next and start finding meaning in what's right in front of you. There's a kind of peace that only comes when your mind quiets down, when it's no longer jumping from tab to tab, thought to thought, craving to craving. That silence isn't empty, it's full of space, of awareness, of calm, and it changes how you live. You stop feeling like life is slipping through your fingers. You start feeling grounded, anchored, connected to what matters. When you break free from constant distraction, your relationships change too. You become a better listener, a better friend, a better partner. You're no longer half there, nodding while checking your phone. You're fully present, and the people around you feel that. They feel seen, they feel heard, and that changes everything. Because the greatest gift you can give someone is your full attention. And when you've learned to give that to yourself first, you naturally extend it to others. Your creativity begins to return. That project you've been putting off starts to come alive again. That idea you had months ago suddenly makes sense. Your energy stops getting drained by 100 tiny interruptions and instead gets poured into something meaningful. You begin to build again, not just consume, not just react, but create, think, grow. And it doesn't take years. It doesn't require a perfect environment. All it takes is a willingness to shift, to turn down the noise and turn up the awareness, to slow down just enough to notice what's pulling you away and make a different choice. The mind you want, the clarity you crave, the peace you miss, it's already inside you. It just needs space to breathe. It needs room to stretch. It needs time without interruption. When you stop feeding the need for constant stimulation, you begin to feed your soul. You give your mind time to rest, to process, to imagine, and you rediscover the simple joy of being here. Not in yesterday, not in the next notification, but here, in this moment, right now. That's the power of focus. It's not about forcing yourself to do more. It's about giving yourself back to what matters. Reconnecting with your work, your people, your purpose. And the best part? Once you experience it, even just a little, you'll never want to go back. Because once you feel the difference, once you taste the clarity, the depth, the calm, you'll wonder how you ever lived without it. So wherever you are on this journey, know this. It's not too late. You're not too distracted. You're not too far gone. You can start today with one decision, one habit, one quiet moment where you choose clarity over chaos, presence over panic, depth over noise. And from there, everything begins to change. Because when you break free, you don't just gain time. You gain yourself. You gain your focus, your peace, your purpose. And there is no greater return than that. If you want to regain your focus, start now. Not next week. Not when your schedule clears up. Not when you feel more motivated. Start today. Because the longer you wait, the deeper the habits of distraction become. The harder it is to break free. And the more time you lose to things that don't matter. But the good news is, it doesn't take a major overhaul. It starts with one simple rule at a time. So paste that sticky note, write down the number 3, and stick it to your screen. Remind yourself to limit your open tabs, your open apps, your mental clutter. Then go 1 minute deeper into your focus than you did yesterday. That's all it takes. 1 minute, one habit, one better life. You don't need more information. You need action. You need to start. Start by putting your phone in a drawer for 10 minutes. Start by setting a timer and committing to one task without switching. Start by deleting one app you know is draining you. These are small steps, but they are powerful because they shift your momentum. They send a message to your brain that you're in control now, that you're done letting distraction win. You can't change your life in one day, but you can change your direction. And direction is everything. Every minute you reclaim is a minute invested in your clarity, your energy, your purpose. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be consistent. Small wins every day build massive change over time. And it all begins with a single decision to take back what matters most, your attention. So make the choice now. Don't just be inspired, act on it. Do something small that sends a signal to yourself that you're serious about this, that you're ready to move from chaos to clarity, from noise to depth, from distraction to presence. And if this message connected with you, if it helped you see your focus in a new way, or reminded you of something you've been missing, then share it. Like the video, drop a comment and tell me what your first step will be. What habit are you going to start building today? Let's create some accountability together. Let's be the kind of people who don't just scroll through wisdom, we apply it. And if you want more content like this to keep you grounded and growing, subscribe to the channel. Because this journey isn't one you have to walk alone. Your attention is your power. Your time is your life. Don't waste it. Train your brain, take the wheel, choose clarity, and begin again today.